Alrighty then, g'day guys, and welcome. My name is Michael and I'm the DeadAussieGamer, and we are back with Heroforge Legendary, our second season review. You can now see I have a little DeadAussieGamer here, so he's going to be the host for today because all you'll get to see from me is my hands. But I'm very, very excited to share with you guys the spoils of war, as we have finally received the printed versions of the models that we have been building over on our Twitch channel for the last few months. Now, word of warning, everything you're about to see is completely without filters, without anything special done to it. There's no green screening, as you can see, evident by the green dice that you can see there. Everything you see is pretty much undoctored, unfiltered. We're going to be doing a side-by-side comparison to the browser app, which obviously is going to give us our comparison, and we're going to give you an honest and critical review of everything that we received. Now, yeah, I will obviously start by saying that this is a sponsored video. So yes, Heroforge does sponsor this, and they have been very, very kind and gracious to gift us all of this, but you will always get an honest opinion from me because, yeah, that's what I'm all about. So without any further ado, let's get to our very first mini. The first mini that we built was a absolutely banger of a freaking mini. It was... boom! Neon Passion, who was a former rock star who had fallen on bad times and became a you know, kind of a washed up has-been, but now he's back on the road trying to get back into his career. He's a catfolk and he plays a flaming bagpipe. He was a very cool character that the audience came up with. So let's have a look and see what happened with Neon Passion. There you go. Have a look at that. Now, again, I'm just gonna, like, all of the zoom and focus is going to be manual, so do bear with me while I try to adjust to get the best view on things. So yeah, as you can see here, I think the model came out pretty good. It's quite clear. The colors are very distinct. Naturally, as we always say, that you know, when you buy the Heroforge minis in color, they are a little bit muted. But now, unlike our previous season, we actually get to see that translucent plastic at work. So let's do a quick turnaround here. So as you can see there, the transparent plastic has come through a little bit more. I want to say. Less opaque as I was hoping. I thought it was going to be a little bit more glossy, a little bit more clear. It's not too bad. It's not too bad. I mean, like I said, it's only just slightly less see-through than I thought it would be. You know, because when I see it here, you know, yeah, I mean, sure, it's not as see-through either. You know, like, yeah, it's just kind of how it is. However, one thing that was a little bit disappointing was our little ghosty friend. So if we have a look at the little ghosty here, and you look at the ghosty here, you can kind of see that there's a lot of that plastic buildup that has kind of just removed the transparency on the ghost almost completely at the edges of that sheet. Now, I don't know if they did that on purpose, like if it's just like a kind of a stylistic choice for that, you know, for the ghost, as it were, but, you know, it is what it is. What else did we play around with? We played around with the makeup, because around the time we were making this, facial hair and makeup was coming in. So we decided, let's see what happens if we try to, you know, add some of those details in. And honestly, I think we ended up with just a little bit. And I mean, I don't know if you can see too much of that, but you can see that there's just the tiniest little bit of the blush that kind of comes through. But I can't see any of the facial hair, like the beard itself. Like, that doesn't really come out too well. All in all, I would definitely say that if I were to go back and do this again, you definitely want something more distinct for the beard. Otherwise, you know, like all those bright and light colors aren't really going to stand out, especially if you're playing around with things like lighting. But yeah, as for the lighting is phenomenal. I mean, look at these backlights, right? Like, you can actually see very distinctly the side of the mini that doesn't have the lighting and the side of the mini that does. You can actually see there's this really cool blue and purple effect that's happened on the smoke because of the lighting as well. And again, we use the transparency on it, so it looks really badass. I'm definitely going to use that smoke effect on some like warlocks or something later on down the track. But no, very, very happy with how that came out. Yeah, so Oh, and another thing I was kind of concerned about was the shoulder. So as you can see here, the shoulder, the piping kind of clips into the shoulder. But honestly, you don't really. I mean, it is there. It still does clip, so you can see it does have that clipping issue, but it doesn't really affect the mini too much. All in all, I'd say I'm very happy with how this came out. All the colors are very, very vibrant. Let's do a quick circle as we examine our model. So yeah, as I said, the interesting thing about it is the translucent plastic kind of came out okay, except for the ghost, and all those really bright and cool colors are just super. Come back here. Where are you going? Are just super clear. Yeah. I mean, maybe the lighting definitely isn't as dynamic on the back as it shows. Let's just have a quick look at the plastic mini. So if you can see on the plastic mini, it does show that there should be some of the plastic there, which I think it's because of the lighting, but I can see that it's a little pink on the back, but definitely not quite as vibrant as the mini here. Yeah, continuing around. Come on, catch up, tiny mini. Yeah, catching up around, you can kind of see, yeah, this mini kind of came out pretty badass. Pretty badass, if I do say so myself. So, and I do say so myself. That's how I feel. All right, yeah. So that was Neon Passion. Our second mini, and this one was a favorite of mine, was the Drow, who was from a post-apocalyptic world where reptiles had taken over. So we gave him like a reptile foot, we gave him reptile hands, we made like the little transparent gemstone with a glowing effect, and honestly, the end result, I was actually quite thrilled with. So breaking down what we ended up with, let me just get into a nice focus there. Beautiful. So what we ended up with was actually quite a detailed character. So as you can see, the glowing on the face really stood out, though we did lose some of the scarring. There is some details that kind of get obscured. You know, like there's like this kind of like part of the printing process that's kind of scuffed part of his face, but I kind of like it. Keeping in mind, you guys are getting this kind of zoomed in. Looking at it like directly, you don't really notice those kind of details. But the claws came out really nicely. Probably the only thing I'd say is that gemstone. Making it transparent was a mistake. Should have definitely made it just a brighter color. And I think that's a lesson to be learned. Transparent is really cool, but not necessarily everything you want. The legs came out really cool. And actually, if we look at the back leg, you can see there that the back leg here is just kind of like detached from the base, whereas they've actually added in a strut that you can now see just there at the back of the heel. Now, I like when they do that. I think it's made the model really, really firm, really, really, kind of well supported. No, definitely a fan of this particular build. The only thing I'd probably say I would have liked is I definitely would love an option for those leaf, the actual like little, what do you call them? They're not stems. They're like kind of like the veins, I guess, of the leaf. I'd love to have been able to color them, but you couldn't. And even if you look at the mini, you can kind of see that there are some really well-defined vines, which don't really come out in the model. But that's kind of nitpicky. That's not really a reflection of the model. As far as I'm concerned, this model looks phenomenal. And can I just say, the base, guys, look at that base. This is like a high quality freaking base with the rocks that are kind of segmented here, the different colors of the leaves, the cobblestone. Easily by far one of the best bases I've put together on a mini. Very, very thrilled at that. So yeah, all in all, very satisfied with it. Let's do a quick once around with our digital copy. So yeah, no, I think the colors came out beautifully. I think the model looks really sharp. All the tiny details are exactly where you need to be. And the printers have been very mindful of how the structure of the character should be. So so this is quite a robust figurine. Let me just so we're gonna stress test this. So if it breaks now, then that's kind of proof. So it's got a little bit of wobble, as you can kind of see there. If I keep the base transfixed, so there's a little bit of wobble. So you definitely don't want to drop it. But I mean, again, what mini do you want to drop? So there you go. That'd probably be the only bit of advice I give is just take care of it. Just take care of it. All right, our next character is our Portal Mage. Now, for the very, very first time, I'm going to say that I was disappointed with this mini. I was not happy. Let's explore why. So this was the figurine that I got. This was what came out. And already I know that some of you guys can see that there are some pretty glaring differences. But let's break down what some of these glaring differences are. So first of all, I think it might be because I've added in the glow. It could be a whole bunch of different things, but she got no eyebrows, and that's a big thing. I was very disappointed. I looked really close. I looked from far away, and yeah, she just had no eyebrows, and it kind of made her look a little bit like a Neanderthal or like a Dragon Ball Z Vegeta character. So I was kind of a little bit bummed by that. The portal came out really nicely because this is our portal mage, so we had her walking out of a portal and then opening up a new one. And as you can see there, the transparent plastic, we actually applied the blood stains with the transparent plastic, and that actually came out really nice. That was actually a beautiful effect. So I can vouch for that effect. I can vouch for like how pretty the portal stuff looks. I can also vouch for, like, you see that book there? So we attached a side book and then rearranged the arm so that the arm is just placed over the book, right? Like, that's not actually a pose. We actually kind of adjusted that. So that is not only really, really secure, but looks supernatural as well. So that was very, very, very cool. I liked that. But unfortunately, some of the kicker here is the details on the face. There's just too much lost. And yes, no eyebrows. We've got like some of the lipstick, but no teeth. I mean, I think that's the eyeshadow, but again, it is a tough one. Honestly, I think it's just the eyebrows more than anything else. So what do you guys think? Do you guys agree? Do you guys disagree? Let me know in the comments. But yeah, so let's do a quick circuit here for our Portal Mage. Yeah, her story was pretty simple. Like she's trying to protect the multiverse by sending people who don't belong in particular universes back to the realms of which they came. Very circa Loki and the Bureau of what was it called? The Bureau of something. Yeah, it's escaping my brain. All right, there you go. That is the Portal Wizard. All right. To flip us onto a more positive note, we have the Dr. House-inspired Bugbear Doctor. Now, this guy's a cool character. He was a bugbear who lived in a scrapyard who would heal animals and the sick and the weary. This was great. I mean, look at that. Like, everything about it was fantastic. The details, the lighting, the shading. The kind of highlights that you have on the arm where you can see the actual fur, that was something I was really, really happy with. And if you look carefully, you can even see on the bag there, they've even got the print of the cross that I had. As you can see there, had the doctor's cross is printed there underneath the little bag handle. So yeah, no, that was really cool. I was actually kind of like worried that this character would just be very plain and very boring, but what actually ended up in my hands was a real piece of work. As far as sort of a review goes, this actual hammer is pretty sturdy, but I'd say that wand has way too much give. I mean, it'll take a little bit of effort for you to snap it, but I would always take care with it. If you are going to use the wand in any of your minis, always try to make sure that no matter where your mini falls, that the wand isn't going to take any of that weight. So if you've got it like pointing forward, Harry Potter style, you might have trouble. Try something like this, where the wand is pointed inwards, and the model prevents itself from trying to snap that little piece off. Now I don't want to zoom in too close, but I do want to brag about this, and that is, can we just take a moment to just look at and appreciate how gosh darn cute that freaking bird is. Look at that bird. That is an adorable bird, and I think they did really well with it. And that's one thing that's always really impressed me, is that Heroforge has quite some detail in certain aspects to each of the models as you print them out. So let's take a quick spin with our wonderful bugbear. Yeah, that's really cool. I also loved the tools that came on his side. I think they came out super nice as well. Yeah, and as I said, the glowing effect as well. Like, we added the blue glow from the wand, and we added a purple glow from the eyes, and both of them have come out definitely and very prominently on the mini. So yay, woo! Okay. Next up was probably our most popular one for the season, and that is the Gentleman Cat Burglar, who is a centaur. There he is. Look at that. So unlike the first one that we did, this one's beard, this one's facial hair actually came out really clearly. So that was really cool. And lessons learned: dark facial hair on a kind of plain face works really, really well. I thought one thing that was really disappointing was that you can only have 2 items on the base. So I had a cat and I had a bag, but I really wanted to put more stuff here, and there was no option to do so. So that's probably the only thing that I could say about this. Apart from that, guys, I mean, look at the details on the horse. Just those contour lines, the little tufts on the hooves, the way that the tail kind of smooths out. I actually was very, very, sort of scared about what I was going to do with, like, a centaur, because I thought, I don't really have too many centaurs in my games or at my table. But, once I got it in my hand, it was really nice. And I could definitely see myself, like, definitely playing a centaur character in the future. It creates very vivid imagery, especially because there are some amazing poses. Let me see if I can show you this real quick. So there are actually some amazing poses that, kind of utilize the horse legs, and see, like that is awesome, So there's a lot to say. There's a lot to be said that you can actually play with while playing a centaur character. As for this model, it is very robust, very, very robust, and does not want to go anywhere. I'd probably be careful handling him by the head. That's basically it. And the kitty came out in such great detail. I love this little cat. Little cat looked amazing. Yeah, looks awesome. Looks awesome. All right, and our last victim for this review is, of course, our awesome freaking hunter, the Last Stand Guardian. Now, this is actually an interesting model because we did something that, we printed out something that I'd seen done on a lot of the like Masters of Heroforge stuff, and that is we tried to use the tails and the hands to kind of build an extra appendage. So there is an extra appendage here, which is currently holding that arrow. I'm going to do a very quick spin, and just tell me if you can see where that extra appendage is. All right, did you see it? All right, well, if you didn't see it, let me very quickly show you where it is. It is currently there. That is the spot there. So that's actually the length of an extra arm. But by painting it the same color as the shirt, I was able to conceal it. And on the model itself, it looks seamless. Literally looks like if you would need to know it's there to actually notice it, I reckon. So no, super happy with how that turned out. The arrow going through him kind of gives it that cool dramatic look. Even the tattered robes and the blood stains, everything about this has made this very quickly one of my favorite models that I've printed from Heroforge so far. As far as critique goes, again, the lighting effects are phenomenal. I decided to listen to my own advice, and I didn't use the transparent plastic for the fire arrow, and I think that was the best idea I did. As you can see, between the fire here and the fire from our transparent character, which is over here, right? That one there is kind of cool, but that one there is just popping. So you don't necessarily need the transparent plastic to get the effect you want. So that was the first, kind of, what do you call it? First kind of thing I wanted to showcase. Next up, I wanted to say this: these arrows. Now, this is one of the popular base items. Is this the arrows that shoot into the ground? Now, I noticed that this arrow at the back was very flimsy, and I'm almost certain that'll snap one day, as kind of was this second one. But this one, I actually accidentally got it touching the cloth at the front, and I didn't realize that. But it has made that super solid and super rigid. So if you do set up your arrows, that's my advice. Try and find it so that at least they're touching something on the main mini, and by doing so, that makes those ones very, very secure. He has a horrible lean, so if you wiggle him too much, he will definitely snap on one angle. But apart from that, the model is quite firm and robust. I would obviously watch out for things like the bow and arrow, because they're obviously very thin and spindly. And if you, like me, have made an elk with elk horns, yeah, just be careful with them, that's all. Let's take a quick spin here as we look at this character. Now, if you're wondering why the arrow has blood stains and this model doesn't, it's because I changed it after I printed it. So there. Yeah, no, this one here is easily, like I said, one of my favorite models now, just because of what you were able to do with not only the extra appendage, but just the scarring on the eye as well, like getting to be able to see that kind of visible wounds. It really has shown me what you can do with it, and I can't wait for my next season, which will be coming out very, very soon, where we're actually going to be exploring the wounds painting decal and see how that's going to look. So yeah, the last thing I want to talk about just before we sign off for today is I did order in some more minis for my Rise of the Runelords game. So as you guys know, this is Malvolo and Lodi. This is my character for the campaign. Now, I wanted to show this off because I had a second printing of these guys, as the journey has progressed. And I wanted to show you them because I think it's a really clear example of how much Heroforge has changed and improved their process between the start and the launch of the color minis and where they are now. So let's take a look at Malvolo real quick. So Malvolo, really cool light white colors. The design's nice and simple, easy, free flowing. Now let's take a look at the new Malvolo. So the new Malvolo's got more or less the same attire, but you can now see that there's a few more intricate details. So you can see like the actual jacket has like these little pouches on the top of it. As we turn them around, we can now see there's I've replaced the backpack, the cloak with the backpack, and you can see like the more finer details are starting to come out. Obviously, having more content is super helpful, but even looking at the scarf around the neck, like the scarf on the original one looks very simple and plain, whereas this one here has just tons of detail, deep recesses for those darker colors, and it just looks sharp, mean, and fun. Yeah, that's it. That's just how I love this one. The biggest change, I think, came from Lodi. Now, if you remember, I mentioned that one of the things that sucked about Lodi was that his eyes, because he was in the hood, really kind of blended in and you couldn't really see much. Well, new Lodi, I mean, look at that. So first of all, there's now a very, very distinct eye line there, and you can actually see the eyes properly. You can also notice that the hands themselves have a bit more details in them as well. As well as obviously with the new lighting effect, it's making like all those lines kind of really stand out a lot more. And in case you didn't know or haven't been following the series, Lodi has a electric chainsaw, which we have an electric chainsaw, and it looks really badass, and it looks super cool. So yeah, Lodi got an upgrade, and like I said, you can kind of see the difference between the minis, right? Like this one, apart from being obviously a little bit more dynamic, with the lighting effect, with the details now added to just those finer points. I think one of the big things I got to tell people is, if you've got a mini in mind, this is a perfect way for you to be able to express it. Create the unique character that you wanna have, and make it using Heroforge. Because yeah, honestly, like I said, even though this one here was what I got first, and I was blown away by this. Having a look at how far they've come and the actual difference between like how smooth it is, like some of the how detailed some of the actual pieces are. It's just amazing how quickly the Heroforge guys are actually upping their game. So I can't wait to see what they're going to release next. I am looking very, very forward to the next season, and of course looking forward to having you join me for that season to hang out, chill, and get to see and witness all of these absolutely wonderful and amazing miniatures. So thank you very much, everyone. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, of course, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. Come and check us out on Twitch, where we will be doing Heroforge Legendary every Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. AWST. Until next time, guys, as always, from me to you, game hard or die trying. Good night, everyone.